Hi guys, I'm sitting here in my 1987 F250. I just picked it up about a week or two ago, and when I bought it, the fellow I bought it from didn't have an ignition key, and the steering was locked. So I'm just going to give y'all my take on what you should do if you end up in a situation like that. I attempted to force the lock. I attempted to force the ignition so that I could get the steering unlocked, and that was just so I could get down off the trailer. And so the first thing that happened is that broke off, and then shortly after that I realized I was probably not going to be successful in turning the lock over. I'm sure you can imagine some of the things I tried to turn that lock barrel over, and it didn't really work out. So, broken lock, no key. So what I ended up doing is pulling the steering wheel off. So here's my steering wheel, and if you look down in the steering wheel on one of these things, what you're going to find is that there are two threaded holes in the steering wheel. These are 5/16 by 24, and they are spaced 1 3/8 inches from each other. So I just made this little steering wheel puller. I think you can buy or rent one of these. It may have been a waste of time to make it, but I made a little steering wheel puller, and it pushes off right here, and it'll just peel this steering wheel right off the spline. It didn't take nearly what I thought it would take to get it off. There's some other good videos out there on how to take apart everything underneath, so I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on that. Though I will point out that in my case, the blinker assembly here wouldn't come free. I didn't have enough length in the wiring harness without taking it apart down under the column. And the way that you get this out of the steering column is actually this connector slides through the back of this housing. You don't take the wires off the back of the blinker here. So that's a good thing to know. Let's see what it came down to. I spent a lot of effort trying to drill out this pin here. Everyone talks about drilling that pin out. I don't recommend that you do that, because you're trying to drill out a steel pin from an aluminum housing, and there's a pretty good chance you're going to damage the housing. I think mine's still going to be usable, but I probably wouldn't do that, because the truth of the matter is, even if you manage to drill that pin out, and I eventually did with a die grinder get it out, you still have to turn the barrel over to, the forward position in order to be able to get it out. So when you do that, I think that pin would have pulled in. There's really no point in trying to drill that pin out. So I'd leave that pin alone, not mess up the housing. And what I ended up doing was, with a combination of a 1/2-inch drill bit and a, where's it at? I got a bit of a mess in here. A die grinder. With a combination of the die grinder, well, that's fouled up with the material there. But with the combination of the die grinder and a drill bit, I was able to grind out my old cylinder here. And the trick is, there's, I think there are 5 pins in this thing. You can see a few of them there, but there are 5 tumblers that you've got to drill. And you just keep on drilling and grinding until you've got all 5 of those tumblers out. There will be a little bit of the key slot left in the very end. Once you drill all 5 of those tumblers out, you'll be able to easily turn what's left of the barrel using a small screwdriver, and it shouldn't take any force. If you're forcing it, you probably still have another pin left in there to drill out. Anyways, once I got that barrel to free spin, I was able to kind of jiggle it around, mess with it, and pretty quickly I pulled it out. So I don't know, this isn't really a how-to, but if you got this far, hopefully I told you something that'll help you save yourself a lot of trouble and heartache when you do this job. Do not try to drill that pin out. And really, if I had it all to do over again, I'd probably just try to hire a mobile locksmith. You're going to spend $40 on a new cylinder anyways, so why not just spend a little bit more than that, maybe $100. Mobile locksmith comes out, figures out what key you need, cuts you a new one. You take on no risk. You don't have to do any work. I've got about 4 or 5 hours in this thing, and now I have to put it back together, and I've damaged my housing. So, I would consider just paying a mobile locksmith in the future. But if you decide to go after it anyways, maybe something in this video will be helpful to you. So good luck.